Oh. Yeah, man. Here we go. Let me tell you. Thank you.
Our 2022 Lakoseljac Cup final, set for 10 minutes till start. Our officials for the day, Brenton Copra, assisted by Thomas Mace and Josh Berry, and Nathan Code as our fourth official. Our home team, South Hobart, number 13 Mason Atfield, 7 Samuel Berezanski, 5 Luke Biggin, 24 Joshua Diven, 4 Loic Farrell, 1 Jake Ayres, 19 Tobias Howanen, 3 Jaden Hay, 17 Gus Higgins, number 9 Bradley Lakoseljac, 8 Jacob Lancaster, 10 Nicholas Morton, 22 Nathan Reid, number 12 Lachlan Semler, 23 Iskender Van Dorn, and number 14 Riley Morton, coached by Ken Morton, assisted by Anton Runner and Nathan Robinson. Our away team, Devonport Strikers, number 15 Henry Andrews, 4 Toby Barton, 12 Charles Bidwell, 11 Brody Dennehy, 22 Ali Dollar, number 9 Roberto Fernandez Garrido, number 5 Aaron Kidmes, 19 Taylor Last, 6 Yassin Mohammadi, 20 Fahim Maradi, 8 Kieran Mulroney, 23 Connor Park, 21 Thomas Pearce, number 3 Dominic Smith, number 1 Keegan Smith, and number 10 Joel Stone, coached by Tom Ballantyne, assisted by Christopher McKenna and Miles Barnard. Our referees will be assisted by Milan Lakoseljac's granddaughter Sarah to do the coin toss at the start of the game.
Good afternoon and welcome to KG5 Football Park for the 2022 Milan Lakoseljac Cup Final. Also doubles up as the entrance to the Australia Cup round of 32. Absolute pleasure to bring this huge game to you. My name is Paul Hunt. Joining me in the commentary box, yes, joining me, last year's hero from the penalty shootout for the Devonport Strikers, Nathan Pitchford, welcome aboard.
Thanks very much, Paul. It's my pleasure to be here today. I've been dabbling in commentary over the last few weeks and been really enjoying it, so I was going to come down and be a completely neutral supporter for this game, but thought I'd try my hand at neutral commentating instead.
Yeah, try coming up here to the top left corner of the KG5 commentary area rather than down with all the Strikers fans who've come on down the bus like yourself today. Fair crew of you come down by the sounds of it. A few other people frequenting the media box in a large amount of Strikers gear as well. And good thing I might just have to go a bit more biased towards South Hobart, just to even it out, I think, here this afternoon.
Well, that's perfectly okay, Paul. I've seen you wear a very non-biased hat a couple of times commentating a Central Coast Mariners versus Tasmania game, where you remain completely impartial for the entire 90-minute stretch.
Yeah, look, the first 15 minutes went well, then it went completely downhill, as we see on screen. Captains Nick Morton and Kieran Mulroney chatting to the main official here, Brenton Copra, who's maybe up to about his fourth Lakoseljac Cup final, I reckon,
minimum,
going on here at the moment. And while we do that, let's go through the team sheet, shall we? I think South Hobart are nominally the home team, something like that. So the South Hobart in alphabetical order: number 7, Sam Berezanski; number 5, Luke Biggin; number 24, up front, Josh Diven; number 4, Loic Farrell; in goal, number 1, Jake Hayes; number 19, Tobias Havinen; number 9, Bradley Lakoseljac; number 8, Jacob Lancaster; number 10, Nick Morton; number 2, Lockie Semler; and number 23, Iski Van Dorn. And for the Strikers pitching,
have you got the updated numbers?
I do have the updated numbers on our wonderful team sheets.
Okay, so in alphabetical order we have number 15, Henry Andrews; number 4, Toby Barton; number 12, Charles Bidwell; number 11, Brody Dennehy; number 22, Ali Dulla; number 9, Roberto Fernandez Garrido; number 5, Aaron Kidmus; 19, Taylor Last; number 6, Yasin Mohammadi; number 20, Fahim Maradi; number 8, Captain Kieran Mulroney; number 23, Connor Park; substitute goalkeeper, number 21, Tom Pearce; number 3, Dominic Smith; number 1, Keegan Smith; and number 10, Joel Stone.
Lovely work there, Pitchy. This shapes up to be a fantastic contest. These two sides, frankly, along with Glenorchy Knights, dominating this competition in the last few seasons. This is their 4th Cup final appearance against each other in, I think it's 6 or 7 years from memory off the top of my head. It shapes to be a fantastic one. That infamous final in 2019, one of the great games in Tasmanian football history. Let's hope we have something similar here this afternoon in the sunshine of KG5. And Brenton Copra, well, he blows the whistle and everyone gets excited, and the Warthog just teasing everyone. And now we're underway. Volleyed forward in the direction of Josh Diven. Devonport going to the left of your screen. Della trying to make something happen, and there's the first crunching challenge from Charles the Better Bidwell, and he's getting a stern talking to. There was a slice of cheese issued in the first minute. I think it was the 2016 Cup final when I was going through the highlights last night. We nearly had our first slice of cheese early on there, Pitchy.
Yeah, that was pretty cynical by the Better Bidwell there. Not sure if he pre-planned that one to come in and start things off nice and tough early, but That was pretty late there. Charles, he's done well to escape something there.
It looks like as soon as you turn on an old firm Celtic Rangers game, you know there's a crunching slide tackle in the first 30 seconds. That's exactly what that looked like to me.
Almost looked like Snow Compain was back out here.
Absolutely. There's Garrido, lovely flick towards Shellstone. Good intensity to this one so far. Divin running around and winning the foul there on that occasion. I didn't think there was too much in it. Taylor saying he was going with the shoulder. Copper saying he went with the leg. I thought that was a little more shoulder.
I'd like to review the timing of the dive there as well. Actually, it was fairly delayed reaction there, but I think there was a little bit of a foul in there. Nothing too serious, but I think he was just a little bit late to the ball there, was Ali Dalla.
The dive started about where the KG5 pole got in my way. That's how far it was away from my point of view. There's Berezanski over this one, getting everyone else out of the way. 2-4-5 at the back to aim for. Goes near post and low, and the volley nearly coming in from Divin. Mike's clear as far as United under considerable pressure. We see Keegan Smith going to let that one go out for the goal kick, and important he's got the cap on for this one, Pitchy, especially with the sun in this direction, as you'd know. Sometimes crucial for a keeper.
Yeah, it's one of those venues where the sun is sort of diagonal and there's not a lot of landscape that's going to block it out, so it stays pretty present here at KG5 for a long period of game, unlike somewhere like Valley Road where it dips down behind the trees and a couple of other venues around the state. It stays in your eyes when there's no cloud cover like we have now for a fairly long portion of the game, and being on the side, you don't really escape it, as there's a bit of argy-bargy about whose throwing it is, funnily enough.
Given towards South Hobart, but yeah, for those who've been here for a game, usually hovers above our grandstand for the majority of it, why it's, as Pitchy says, more diagonal, as Morton inking and turning. Now Berezanski, Van Dorn, Niski trying to weave past Mulroney on the wing, to no avail.
Sam Berezanski just leaving that one for Hawaiian coming up. Likely to try and play this one short quickly if they can, is down the line in the direction of Van Dorn, who tries to volley one across but skews that one out for a goal kick. Second quick fire goal kick for Devonport here early, as South Hobart probably had the ground ascendancy so far.
Just for those who didn't catch the Women's Statewide Cup final before, the wind blowing not strongly but just strong enough from left to right of your screen, so coming off the Derwent River, and at the moment will be on South Hobart's back for this first half.
Pretty common tactic to go into the wind in the first half, so you get the breeze on the way home. You can see there the ball just being held up there from goal kick of Keegan Smith as Iski Van Dorn picks it up and charges in at Toby Barton, just speaks into the punch as Joel Stone picks it up, can't keep it in. There's another throw in down this right hand side to South Hobart as Joel Stone tries to cynically slow things down. Again, I have seen cards issued for that type of behaviour, to be fair, but Havainen finds himself with the throw in now down the line to Nick Morton. Lovely little touch inside. Iski Van Dorn is looking to play off Divin, who rolls his marker in Connor Park and doesn't quite win his side a corner as the ball picked up by Ali Dalla, who looks to charge around Nick Morton, but Nick Morton does brilliantly to corral the ball and get the ball back as Toby Barton clears up the line to Roberto Fernandez-Garrido, who's charging down here one-on-one with Biggin. Farrell just marshalling things at the back. Good switch of play through Taylor Larson. It falls to Joel Stone, the edge of the box. Thinks about the shots. Just pulls his shot at the last minute. Almost falls through to Roberto Fernandez-Garrido, and Jake Hayes comes well off his line to claim that one.
That would have been the flukiest assist of Joel Stone's career, I think, as he fundamentally pulled out of that one. Ended up towing it almost into the path of Fernandez-Garrido as Morton lofts that one to no one in particular.
I tell you what, mate, if as fluky as that may have been, I would 100% claim it.
Oh, and
you would claim it.
And Stoney would absolutely claim it as well.
Joel would be like, no, just trying to throw everyone off, and I just towed it through.
It was a look away towie, like you're doing like a little futsal routine, trying to get it to.
He's a very good futsal player, Joel. I will play. I have had the fortune of sharing a futsal court with him. I don't quite have the deft touch that he has, funnily enough, Paul.
Yeah, look, I don't think many people do in Tasmania, to be honest.
I do wear a Wayne Rooney top when I play, though, to be fair, so if that gives you a little bit of a snapshot of my method of action, it's all go.
I'm a Perth Glory W League kit, and my impression of Sam Kerr is woeful on the futsal court, as Morton doing some good work down on the far sideline, winning a throw-in for his team.
I think Sam Kerr would show a lot of us up, mate, unfortunately.
It's, not getting anywhere near that class, unfortunately, is...
Devonport struggling to get out of this breeze, struggling to get out of their own half here at the minute, aren't they? They're sort of just being hemmed back by South Hobart, who are one of their strong points from a South Hobart perspective. They're very relentless, they're very consistent, very disciplined. In conditions like this, as Lancaster just nips in front of Fernandez Garrido, South Hobart will continue to pile on the pressure for this entire 45 minutes, I imagine, as Ali Dalla, just under some close attention from Nick Morton, keeps the ball in, plays it back through Toby Barton, and another South Hobart throw in here. It's a strong concept, the repeat entries and a repeat pressure into the 18-yard box. The more often you get it in a short period of time, the more likely you are to break through any kind of resistance. South Hobart are doing a good job of that early, as Nick Morton doesn't keep that one in, and it's a Devonport throwing deep in their own half here, as Toby Barton will look to release long down the line. And Wayne just flicks that one on, gives Devonport a little bit of territory.
I think that's mainly territory, as Fernandez Garrido wants to steal, I reckon, 25 yards from that throw-in, and there's the second ball on the field as well. So she's trying to maybe slow the pace down, maybe realising, as you mentioned, Peachy, it's just been all down their end to begin with, as Barton goes in the Dalla direction. Good leap from Toby Havainen. Mulleted Bidwell knocks that one forward. Farrell now out towards Devon. Van Dorn. Connor Park getting in front of Morton, who looks like he's nominally playing up front here this afternoon. I thought Devon might be a likely option, but so far Devon playing in a bit more withdrawn role with Berezanski and Van Dorn accompanying him on the wings.
I think you'll find they'll interchange fairly heavily, Paul. They'll play in a triangle and rotate between positions. There'll always be one of those guys occupying those positions. But it's one thing South Hobart have traditionally done really well in their midfield is rotate through players rather than have one in set positions, as Ali Dalla tries to come out of his defensive half, but can't find a Devonport teammate. As Farrell whips this one wide in the Morton direction, but will it stop in the wind? He does well to track that one down. He's one-on-one with Connor Park and jinks it around, swings it in on his left foot and cleared partially by Kieran Mulroney. Forced a Lakoseljac on the edge of the box, but he's double teamed there by Andrews and Taylor last, but South Hobart thrown on the far side.
For those tuning in who don't usually follow this competition as strongly as the rest of us, yes, Lakoseljac out in the field is a relation to the named Milan Lakoseljac trophy that we're playing for here today, the grandson of the Croatia Glenorchy legend, which the trophy is named after. And just on your point about South, Pitchy, they've certainly had to do that in the last couple of years, a bit more, rotate up front. They traditionally, over the last few years, as Van Dorn nearly gets there in front of Barton, and Havainen goes forward, and using Joel Stone as a bit of a prop there to turn around. It goes out of play, but Tangenol's going. They traditionally had Albie Lazinski up front as a more target man. Then they had the pace of Ben Hamlet, who used to stay really on the last man. Now they definitely interchange a bit more, and I think that's why they were very happy to have Van Dorn back from the COVID restrictions of international travel the last couple of years. I think he complements that style really well for South Hobart.
Yeah, definitely. As you can see it now, Van Dorn's sort of holding in that 9 position with Devon and Morton dropping into the 10s. So they're going to play in that sort of midfield triangle and rotate around. And I think that suits Nick Morton really well. He reads the game so well, and he's got a huge engine. His work rate is fantastic, and you just see that beautiful little bit of skill from Nick Morton that allows Semler to overlap, but just can't quite keep that one in play. And yeah, you see how dangerous it is when he drops into those half spaces and can turn, or little touches like that just release South Hobart, and they attack so quickly. They want to, them and Glenorchy Knights, South Hobart and Glenorchy Knights attack really, really quickly.
There's that one out for a throw-in as Greedo decides against stealing a few extra yards on this occasion. Good challenge there from Berezanski to win the ball. Plenty of yellow shirts on that far sideline.
You can see the danger here of that that South Hobart midfield triangles, they were creating one-on-ones there across the Devonport defensive line. And if that ball spills out quickly, it's a 50-50, so that you can see how dangerous it is. And Devonport are going to have to be aware and get a bit more balance through their sixes. You can see here you've got Charles Biddle, who's playing in the sixth position, marking Nick Morton. And it really should be passing that on. And so he's making huge gaps through the Devonport midfield there. So they want to get on top of that pretty early. I think it's Iski Van Doorn does well to charge down Connor Park on the far side. Fantastic re-inclusion. There's a re-inclusion into this South Hobart team, Iski Van Doorn. I know, have experienced his skill firsthand.
There's Morton now turning away and trying to get between two. Berezanski, Van Dorn at the near post. Well cleared by Park. Andrews. And surely taking the deflection off South to end up in that direction. And then a push in the back we'd usually see on the ground just behind us here at KG5 there from Josh Diven on the better Bidwell. One of the easier free kicks you'll see, yes. Iski Van Dorn obviously scoring the sealer in the 2019 Lakoseljac Cup, where we saw the greatest 100-metre sprint in KG5 history from the man to my right.
That day I would have backed myself to win the traditional AFL Grand Final half day 100-metre sprint, Paul, but it's funnily enough wasn't quick enough.
We did used to have the Anzac Day 100-metre sprint here back in the day when the Knights used to host the Anzac Day game. I remember them from years past, and I would have fancied you if they had one here that day.
Look, to be honest, I'd rather not have to do it again and not have conceded a goal from going up for a corner, but I digress.
Yeah, underrated from that game. Probably the worst corner of Devonport's season that caused that. So I do think you're a bit robbed there.
Look, I didn't want to say it, Paul.
Yeah, but, I was just rewatching the highlights last night and had that thought to myself as Iski Van Dorn now trying to turn to opposing number 23s, going out at Morton at the near post. Well cleared from Barton coming across, and Fernandez Garrido back towards Stone, who's got himself into a bit of a tiz there, and Mulroney bails him out of trouble. Garrido, Della on one side and goes in that direction. Only Della up against Havainen. Only Andrews at the back stick. Fernandez Garrido lurking. Wants some support probably from a wing back and didn't get any in that time. Havainen manages to clear. Van Dorn wanting a free kick there. Nothing given. Is that Thomas Mace on the sideline I think we got today?
Yeah, you got Mace on the near side, and you've got Josh Berry on the far side, according to my program.
Seems about right by my process of elimination.
There's literally not a chance of me being able to see that far.
Yeah, it's why we have the monitor here today. We have the setup here for on Cup final day.
I'm certainly not used to this.
Yeah, look, it's a whole new world up here, I know, as Havainen. Last. Now Bidwell. Still going. Here's Taylor last. Ball out towards Della. Now Stone. Gets there in front of Lakoseljac, who's just feeling his shoulder after that. A bit of pain and a free kick. Early Della O'Brien, and a little bit of chirp afterwards saying, no way, that's a foul. Maybe just an even up from that one before, because it does look like Lakoseljac's down holding his shoulder.
I don't know if he's holding that from the original contact from Charles Biddle in that first 30 seconds, mate, to be honest. Because he looked a bit proppy afterwards.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem to have been right since that happened, to be honest. So, because I don't think there was much contact here for him to go down. So it could be something that was already saw after that Charles Biddle tackle. Yeah, there's just very little in that.
He's just lean to go in, and judging by expert physio Matt Lancaster's looking there in the way he's holding it, could potentially be popped out.
Yeah, very possibly.
Just the way he's holding it and going into the dressing room. It doesn't look like a sub immediately in the offing, so South down to 10 for the moment.
If it's a shoulder that he's dislocated before, you can strap it up.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be a huge issue. I don't sound overly sympathetic, but you can get away with things like that in a match like this.
Yeah, he wouldn't be the first person to play a cup final in any sport with a popped-out shoulder.
Last year, Raph Reynolds relocated his own shoulder on the fence on the far side.
He did.
And continued to play the remaining game as Taylor last. He's over this free kick for Devonport. He looks to just dink it in towards the far stick. Dangerous ball. Falls to the feet of Toby Barton, who can't get a shot as Charles Biddle comes charging in, and his shot's harmlessly over the bar. A little bit of panic there for South Hobart. They're unable to clear the lines. Terrific ball from Taylor Last into that awkward spot where the keeper doesn't know whether to come or whether these defenders deal with it, and neither happened there, to be honest, and Devonport were unfortunate not to be able to get a shot on target there.
Yeah, look, it was right on that kind of 6-yard line where you know, as a media analyst, you'd automatically say the keeper should come out to get, at least for my just prediction sitting up here. And, if you get a shout either way, it's manageable, I find, as a former plodding centre-back. As long as I know if it's coming or not, I can brace myself.
100%.
Or clear it.
I was usually pretty good at letting people know that I was on my way. And I was fortunate enough to have defenders like Kieran Mulroney who, even if you called, they'd box out the area in front of you and things like that. But you have to be decisive either way. So if you're not going to come, the call needs to be there early, away or clear or something like that. But you can't say nothing in those scenarios. That's 100% sure.
Just re-going through those South Hobart subs in case Lakoseljac can't continue. Riley Morton, Nathan Reid, Gus Higgins, Jaden Hay and Mason Atfield. I'd have Jaden Hay as the most likely to come on.
Yeah, would you put him into that midfield position, Jaden, or would you push Loic Farrell into a 6 and have Jaden in the back line with Devon?
I'd do option 2 there. Pitchy, Farrell, very versatile player, centre-back, right-back and centre-mid. I'd probably have him slightly more holding and push Lancaster on a little bit.
Having said that, I mean, Jaden Hay made a living as a left or right back in his early days. He bossed that position for quite some time.
Very much so in his Zebras days. From memory, he was right back on that occasion. There's Bidwell now. Flick from Garrido. Falcon of Brenton Copra. And he is definitely feeling that one, Copra. The referee Falcon, the thud that made, reverberating around the grandstand, and we hope one of our favourite referees here at Slice of Cheese, Brenton Copra, is okay.
That might end up being the most serious contact we see today. He absolutely wore that like a champion, Brenton Copra. It is cold enough that would have hurt regardless of where it hit him, but it just had to hit him on the beak, I think.
I think that's got it just on the jawline. Just giving a quick okay to the fourth official and referees manager, Nathan Code.
Cody does not look prepared to come on and replace him in any way, though, does he?
Yeah, look, I don't want to out Cody at all, but he was complaining of a knee injury to me before when I was down chasing the team sheet, and I think, honestly, the best option would probably be to get Lauren Hargrave out of the grandstand to go back in the middle for Copra.
Would have been fantastic to see her involved. I know she was fourth official in the Women's Statewide Cup final preceding this match, but it would have been fantastic to see her put on a bit of a display here and sort of, not homecoming, but return home and contribute to Tasmania football. She's done so much in the past.
I think Cody was just having a smirk to someone on the sideline saying, I don't fancy a full 90 out there.
Still got the gloves on, so.
There's Morton now up against Joel Stone in that heading duel. Love it when those two get entangled with each other on the pitch. Two not quite wind-up merchants, but both like a bit of the dark arts as that lofted ball harmlessly into the not-so-wet area.
As Lakoseljac is pleading with the referee to get some attention to return back to the field, and he's not moving his right arm at all. It's either strapped very heavily or he's in a fair bit of discomfort.
I mean, I think they're doing the whole let's see how you go for 5 minutes, but I mean, he's running with one arm, and I did spend some time this morning with one of Tasmania's best sprinters, and he would not advocate someone running like that fast. No. That's for sure.
No, it's they're built tough for Lakoseljac, so I'm very fortunate enough to play against Bradley and his father, Brendan. They're built tough, those boys. He'll push through as much as he can. And I think this day, like I've spoken to him briefly before, this day does mean a fair bit to him. The significance isn't lost on him in any way, shape or form. He wasn't playing in it, I think it was last year or the year before, and I asked him if he was going to get up and present the trophy, and he said not a chance. So I don't think he's too keen on handing it to anyone else.
Especially while in his playing days. I did see Brendan along the grandstand earlier today.
Yeah, had a quick chat to him before the game, yep. Now residing in Queensland.
No wonder he had the puffer jacket on there. The still embroidered South Hobart puffer jacket he was wearing the other year whilst assistant coaching.
He did point out the snow on Mount Wellington as I was talking to him.
There's Barton. He wants to get that one forward. Now Devon. Morton towards Van Dorn, but after that promising first 5 minutes or so from South, where we were talking about how often they were getting repeated entries into the box, I don't think they've had one since then. Devonport just growing into this game a little bit as Savine reaches for that one. Big and knocks that one into touch.
Yeah, it seems like the players sort of swung a little bit now, hasn't it? And Devonport's starting to get that territory ascendancy now a little bit, but neither team creating too many clear-cut chances. That half chance that fell to Charles Bidwell a few minutes ago, as Lakoseljac does well in that physical battle with Joel Stone, but the ball falls back to the two-time Mitsubishi medal winner as Huwainen upends Ali Dallin. I reckon there's been a bit of afters here. He's not happy, is he? They've given away Toby Flannan has given away 2 free kicks on Ali Dalla, both of which he feels to be pretty soft.
And he's let him know about that with both sides.
Which, you would.
You would, yeah, absolutely.
To be honest, but dangerous position. It was a dangerous free kick he gave away last time, and it resulted in that half chance to Charles Bidwell. So,
I'm not sure if you got inside information on this, but Stoney hasn't been taking really any free kicks.
No, look,
of this year.
Taylor Last has actually stepped up in a big way this year, not just with as he swings this ball into a dangerous position. There's that miscommunication again between the keeper and his defenders as Henry Andrews wins a couple of tackles here. As Wayne tries to come away with it, Henry Andrews does well to corral him out, but you can see there that miscommunication between Jake Hayes and one of his defenders. That's what I was talking about in that. You have to be really decisive and clear in that. Because that was not quite as good a ball from Taylor Last there, I put the mockers on him a little bit because I was giving him credit for how well he's done this year. He has really stepped up in a lot of ways. Lakoseljac clears the ball down the line to Kieran Mulroney, who just nods it back to his goalkeeper Keegan Smith.
Yeah, you'll learn that commentator's curse is a thing, pitch if you haven't already, over the course of your half a season with us here on Slice of Cheese. It's Keegan Smith. Just getting that away in time and nearly went straight to Nick Morton in the end. He'll get it on this occasion. Berezanski probably getting in his way a touch as Stone. Well, I'm sure he just punched that to himself, but play's allowed to continue.
It did appear as if that came off the left hand of Mr. Stone there, but Brenton Copper allowed that one to go on as Ali Dalla runs at Hawaiian again, and no foul this time from Hawaiian. He's learned his lesson potentially, but it is a Devonport throw in here. Toby Barton looks to throw down the line to the feet of Henry Andrews. He's under some close attention from Loic Farrell. A wily old fox out there. Him and Kieran Mulroney would probably be by far the 2 most experienced players out there, I would have thought, residing in the centre-back positions for respective teams. There's a bit of head tennis goes on as Biggin clears that one in the Connor Park direction, who nods it down for him, Murati. Just can't bring he does win that ball back. As you can see, Henry Andrews spitting out onto that right wing. Not entirely sure what Murati was hoping for now as Berezanski runs away with the ball and he spreads it wide in the direction of Nick Morton, who whips it in on first time on his left foot. And Connor Park just gets a touch on that and it goes out for a corner. Devonport players remonstrating with Brenton Copper here. I think wanting a free kick. I'm not sure. I didn't see anything.
I'll be honest, I was trying to see if Luke Farrell played in the 2010 Lakoseljac Cup final or not, so I did not see it in the slightest.
Yeah.
He didn't, is the answer to that. So Kieran Mulroney, who was out here in 2008 playing in a Lakoseljac Cup final, by far the longest serving in a Lakoseljac Cup final since. I do believe Farrell was out here playing about that long ago, but
it would have been pretty close.
It would have been, as Hobart's corner swung towards the back stick and well cleared by Mulroney. Only had Biggin behind him. Bidwell was doing well to box him out. As Dalla, I thought he was pulled to the ground by Hawaiian there. Again play on, and Garrido not quite getting the ball on that occasion as Lancaster tried to switch the ball, but it's straight to Henry Andrews. Fernandez Garrido onside, waiting for some support as Dalla up against Lakoseljac. Now Stone going for that chip through ball, and that was a little bit theatrical there from Ali Dalla. You on the South Hobart bench wanting a slice of cheese given out for those antics, and I think it was one of those ones where, because there was technically contact, you can't quite give it, but you, as a referee, you know he's just 100% wanting that free kick and nothing else.
Yeah, you'd know you'd stolen one if you'd have given that free kick. Mr. Copper's been around a fairly long time and usually doesn't fall for the things like that. As South Hobart get the ball away quickly, and Connor Park threw it back of Iski Van Dorn, but no free kick given there. Looks like he just reached in from behind. It was all ball, but typically free kicks from behind are given as Iski Van Dorn chases back, forces Devonport to a nice little bit of interplay, but the press was good from Sam Berezanski as it falls to Charles Bidwell. Swings it wide to Toby Barton. Looks up the line to see Ali Dalla presenting at feet. It's Joel Stone. 2-on-1 there, and another crunching contact there from Lacka. I told you they built him tight. It wasn't the sore shoulder that he came in with, but he certainly came in hard there, which is fantastic to see there from Lacka. He's going to have to play for 70-odd minutes over the pretty proppy shoulder and still not moving well as the ball finds its all the way over to Connor Park, who's looking for the feet of Fernandez Garrido, but cannot find him. Morton wins this one up the line, gets it better of Murati and drives down the line, trying to suck Kieran Mulroney across. Plays the ball into the feet of Iski Van Dorn on the top of the box, shoots, and a pretty comfortable save there from Keegan Smith, but the good thing about that save is that he's parried that all the way out for a throw and didn't leave it in the 18-yard box, absolutely cleared his line, so comfortable but well executed save there from Keegan Smith.
Yeah, got, say, a good firm palm onto that one, out for a throw-in, not even a corner either as well, so about the best outcome possible there from what was a promising situation that Nick Morton started on the halfway line. As now coming forward is Havainen up against Duller, and now he's being told to get up by the referee, enjoying this little battle within a battle between those two here this afternoon, as a corner kick has been given, and Ali Duller remonstrating with Thomas Mace down there on the corner. Not happening on this occasion.
Yeah, I didn't think that one came off Ali Duller, but
I didn't think it did either.
And Mr. Mace is obviously much more better position than I.
Yeah, absolutely.
Funnily enough.
As we've got probably the third of the KG5 poles in our way from anything down in that corner.
But you can see how quickly South Hobart break. Just a little turn, a little missed tackle on the halfway line turns into a save and now a corner as Berezanski whips it in near post and cleared by Toby Barton. Having cleared the first player twice now, Savainen thought about shooting, but changes his mind and doesn't quite connect with Semler there.
I thought that was a pretty good option as Semler still had 5 or so yards, as Duller and Havainen having another chit-chat. I'm going to be disappointed when that battle moves over to the far sideline. It's really fascinating to watch here from the grandstand as Barton takes it short towards Bidwell, who leaves it even shorter, and Van Dorn steals in and turns the possession over and makes it a South throw-in. Ryan not in a great hurry to take it on this occasion. Ryan a couple of options short. And Dawn, late lunge there on last. Who's gone down, stayed down. It's Barton actually, yeah. On that occasion, Keegan Smith coming over to ask where's the slice of cheese. And clearly, I don't think Keegan Smith played in as many games with Brenton Copper as a referee as a few of us have seen here.
Yeah, I don't think there wasn't a heap of malice in that tackle. But I think the right leg of Iski Van Dorn, as he's extended the left leg, the right leg's come round and just got Toby Barton a little bit. We're obviously waiting for our replay screen to catch up with us here. So you just see the right leg just catch him, I think. I don't think there's any malice in it, but there's a little free kick in that.
Yeah, there's definitely a free kick in that. And, you know, maybe if you'd had 2 or 3 fouls already built up, it's about time for a cheese. But as a first offence for an attacker, you'd be a little harsh in giving that one. As Keegan Smith, the replacement goalkeeper for the Devonport Strikers this season, his pitch has moved to the better part of the ground, the media box. Keegan Smith really well kept, a lot of clean sheets so far this season. Got beaten by a penalty last week in the league, but I think it was only his 3rd or 4th goal he's conceded so far this season.
Yeah, yep. He's done a fantastic job this year so far. He's come into the Devonport lineup and it's been a pretty seamless integration, and he's got a pretty impressive resume, to be fair, far better than mine, I think.
I don't know, I'm scrolling through these archives of every Lacquer Cup final. I'm really sick of seeing your name on my Google Doc here.
Oh, look, my ratio's pretty poor. I've been in 5 and only won 2. So lost one with
Zebras?
One with Zebras, one with Newtown Eagles.
Oh, yes, 2012.
2012. Yeah, I think that was, and then 2014 with Zebras, and then obviously the 2019 one that Iski Van Dorn ruined for me. So, yeah, I don't have a great record, but I have been fortunate enough to be here quite often as Toby Barton leans in on Sam Berezanski. But the immediate release now towards Nick Morton is under close attention from Kieran Mulroney, who does the better of Nick Morton there, just uses his body well to come away with the ball. A lot of experience between the 2 captains there.
That's fantastic defence from Kieran Mulroney, showing a good turn of pace to turn and, well, both chase and win the ball off Nick Morton in that situation. He's a very fit man, is Kieran Mulroney.
He's extremely fit. He has an absolutely huge tank, but what he lacks for in potentially that, playing out from the back and that prettiness in the football, he's unbeatable one-on-one. And if he makes physical contact with you in terms of if he can get close to you and pull you in, there's no beating him. He's second to none in that category, that's for sure. As Charles Bidwell lunges in on Iski Van Dorn, there was some studs showing there, but free kick coming from Mr. Copper. He's just letting things play a bit, as there was a little afterthought down here between Havainen and Duller again, and I think the chirp continues out here.
We need a second camera down there.
We do. We have enough media people here to probably commission a second camera.
We have enough photographers. I'd like one of them to sacrifice one for the team to go video mode and just film that down there for us.
As we see Tanner Code here down on the fence, we just might give him a shout out. So Tanner, can you just film these 2 for us?
It would be fantastic, because that is continuing ongoing battle.
Taking our production to the next level here, Paul.
Oh, look, we did have the dual camera for a couple of Lacquer Cup finals and a couple of opening days, so it would be nice to have that back, but unfortunately just having you in the media box pitch has ruined all the budget as Andrews wins the throw-in off Morton and goes to steal a few yards.
I would donate any payment to fix that scoreboard if I could. I tell you what.
Absolutely is, yes. For those in attendance, the scoreboard isn't working, and whilst we managed to get just about everything at KG5 up to speed in a few days, this one obviously scheduled initially for Lightwood Park down at Kingborough, we managed to get the toilets in a usable nick, which was I wasn't expecting. It didn't quite get the scoreboard charged up in time as Mulroney now hanging out towards Barton. Dulla dropping in short, providing an option, and Dawn is going to pin Devonport right back in their defensive area as we've gone through half an hour already here, and despite the fact there haven't been too many clear-cut chances, it's been a compelling enough game so far.
Yeah, one chance each really. Charles Biddle spraying that one over the bar, and that pretty comfortable save by Keegan Smith early on. I think it was from Iski Van Dorn who took that shot as Toby Barton throws it in and out and gives possession back to South Hobart here on the near side as Lorraine looks to take another throw in down here. Toby Barton does well to reach in, and Iski Van Dorn went down pretty easy there. A bit of Ali Dalla action there from Iski Van Dorn as he switches the play through Connor Park, whose pass just makes it to Fahim Maradi. Skips around Morton and is looking for his next option. He drives into the midfield and takes players on, drops it off to Taylor Last, and Henry Andrews is through here. If Taylor Last pass can find him, but Semler does well. And that's another example of JK coming out very indecisive as Farrell tries to keep that ball in play, but doesn't. JK was never getting to that. Like, he's got to know that that's into the wind and that's going to hold up. Like, he was never getting there. And I'm glad Semler decided to stick with that and get there first, because I don't think JK's was going to impact that one even before Henry Andrews got there.
No, I'm going to be more unequivocal there. JK's was not getting that, and Semler's very much done what was needed to be done there from the fullback as Stone keeps that one exceptionally well, and Semler get that one out for a throw into him. I think Andrews was going to round the keeper and either slot it into an open goal or get taken out by the keeper, I think, in that situation.
And I think without the breeze, that ball probably would have carried through a bit more favourably for Andrews there, but it just held up a little bit. Taylor Last couldn't quite connect with his teammate there as Charles Biddle switches the ball nicely. And Toby Barton looking for Ali Dalla, and one-on-one battle here with Hawaiian again. Nice little physical battle there, holds it up well.
Held onto the ball there too long. Ali Dalla, he had, I think it was Maradi on the far sideline screaming for it. And would have been the best option in that situation. And now Fernandez Garrido. Haven't seen him on the ball too much.
He's often like this in the first half hour. He's got a fantastic first touch and often builds into games. From what I've watched, he tends to have that slow burn, but when he's on the ball, it's usually pretty high quality. He has a terrific first touch, as I said, and he links really well with Joel Stone. So one of the elements I like about this Devonport team in a minute, the link-up play between him and Stone is first class. They've both got terrific football brains. There's a long throw-in, just eludes Henry Andrews, and Elena gets there first and puts it out for a throw-in. Probably could have taken a touch there with a shout from a teammate as Toby Barton gets this one back in pretty quickly through Bidwell. Skips around Devon and this plays it to nobody. Bit of miscommunication there between Stone and Barton and Bidwell there. Not sure what happened.
Just going back to Fernandez Garrido, he's exactly like that in the Knights striker's first game here this season in the NPL. He barely had a touch for 40 minutes and then got him 1-0 up in the 41st minute, scored again in the second half, and then didn't really do a great deal after that as well. As it does look like the scoreboard is half working. We've got the timer on.
Look out.
We're half working down there on the down that end.
Fantastic.
Hopefully...
Fantastic, not so much for us, but for everyone else at the ground who would like to know how long there is to go and what the score is and stuff. Like, I rocked up to the WSL game and it was 0-0, but apparently it was actually 1-0 to Lonnie United, but because the scoreboard wasn't working, it's kind of hard to turn up late as Henry Andrews is offside.
Yeah, he is.
About nice 3 yards play offside there, but you saw that link up between Stone and Fernandez Garrido, and then Henry Andrews dropping in from that right wing, sort of second 10 position. Saw that nice little interplay there, but just straight offside, as I think it was Semler that held him.
Yeah, Semler.
No, Semler's fired, so it must have been one of
the
central defenders. That's an accidental back heel. Charles will 100% claim that, but that looks of work.
I can hear Eddie laughing from here at that.
Mr. Eddie Biddle. Shout out to Eddie Biddle. I think he's currently serving a 3-game suspension. I think I heard correctly in the Football Queensland competition. I could be wrong there, but I was talking to Charles before the game as that one swung long by South Hobart. No one there, though. South Hobart do that a lot. If they're under the pump, they will swing it all the way through and then look to gain the territory back. You see pretty contrasting styles from these two teams. As Devonport are pretty keen to try and play the ball through their sixes and switch through their sixes and try to go from side to side with slower build-up. South Hobart have been a lot more direct this year, and they're happy to swing that quick diag. You saw the counter-attack between Morton and Iski Van Dorn that created that early opportunity with Keegan Smith making the save. So contrasting styles here, whereas in previous years you would have said it was the opposite way around. You would have said that South Hobart are more likely to build and things like that. As like for Owens, a good tackle against Fernandez Garrido. Ball falls into the middle of him. Joel Stone slides in, but Tiffin just gets there in front of him, and Joel Stone goes again. And Ali Dalla has just been to the ball by Lakoseljac, trying to clear his lines.
Like Farrell, very, very strong in the challenge. As always, that is the benefit of having him in that centre-back role, as that's very under-hit, and going first time was Lakoseljac, and we were mentioning first-time diagonals for South Hobart just before. I'm not quite sure that was how it was done in the Morton textbook.
Yeah, well, it wasn't what I was envisaging. But you saw it really prominently in the under-20s game as well. The under-20s final between these two clubs was exactly the same. Devonport consistently trying to link up through their sixes, Taden Lyle, Tristan Downwood, and trying to switch the play really slowly and try to get the ball into the feet of their 7 and 11. Whereas South Hobart were very direct. They looked to go in behind very, very quickly, and you'll probably see that again in here as Connor Park's free kick down the line got caught up in the wind and drifts out for a throw-in.
Well, South Hobart's championship side definitely play like that as well. I've seen a fair few of their games down at Darcy Street this year, and it works on most occasions. Sometimes if a team plays a very, very low block and stands on the 18-yard line, they do tend to run out of ideas. They lost a game to Clarence Zebras, that side, where they pretty much just parked their 4 experienced defenders on the 18-yard line and made sure nothing happened. So it is beatable, and Devonport so far doing a good job in defence in thwarting it as Semler flicks it over to himself, and it's acrobatic work again from a few of the Devonport players before we see Rowdy Feld on the far sideline. No, it's not quite. Taylor.
Yeah.
He's getting across the ground a fair bit here. It's Taylor. Henry Andrews getting a touch. Great to see him back in the senior NPL fold. Obviously, was still playing championship the whole time. He hadn't completely disappeared.
I spent a year in the UK.
Yeah, okay.
I think 2020, I think he spent in the UK doing a bit of travelling and that kind of stuff. And then he came back for 2021.
As much travelling as you can do in the year of 2020, I would assume.
Yeah. It was either the 2019 year or the 2020 year that he was away. And then, yeah, he's a terrific pickup or inclusion in this NPL team. Is apparently Henry straight offside again.
Yeah, well, he's must have...
Is that curse again, Paul?
Yeah, he must have just forgotten what offside is in all those travels and still briefly forgetting it.
Don't play offside in the UK, Paul. There's no video. There's no VAR.
No VAR. Yeah, look, there'll be no coloured lines on our screen today while we've got 2 commentators and the full works here today. There will be no coloured lines on the screen. I can assure you of that. Yes. Devine has absolutely shanked that, and you could tell that's come completely off the side of the boot there.
Can only laugh that one off.
Now he'll be forced into some defensive action as Fernandez Garrido just about gets behind and Devine concedes the corner. He wants the free kick, and instead it'll be a corner. Big and also asking the question.
Again, I think there was a little bit of contact there, but Copper's not the man for you for giving those.
Absolutely not.
Interesting here, South Hobart setting up their zonal defence early. It's gone with the one man on the post. Pretty common theme nowadays. Not back to the traditional 2 on the post, man-on-man marking.
Yeah, there's many football innovations I can get around. I'm always 2 on the post, but that's just me personally, as Stone janking inside, getting on that left peg, lovely ball towards the back post. And Ali Dalla, as well as Kieran Mulroney, going for the ball, and it does look like a touch came off South Hobart, so it'll be another corner kick in front of a few of the Devonport fans congregated in the wet area.
It's the thing, whenever Kieran Mulroney's in the box, even if he's a 70-30 chance of not winning it, he's still going to go in for that, and he's won his team a corner there. I'm not too sure if it did actually come off the South Hobart player there. It didn't quite have the best angle, but that contest just creates that chaos as the ball comes in. And I think it was Lancaster on the line, was it, that blocked that? I think that was a header at the front post from Toby Barton. I think Lancaster blocked it and fell harmlessly into the arms of Jake Hayes, who chooses to try and play some football in his 6-yard box before then just pointlessly kicking it out.
Yeah, look, just maybe a bit of nerve showing there, maybe realising he got a little bit lucky there, was beaten at the near post, and Lancaster running back towards the back stick and heading it into the keeper's grateful arms.
I wonder if it would have been offside. I'm not sure if Semler was still on the front post, but I wonder if the flick from Barton would have had whoever the Devonport player was running in at the back post offside in that scenario. As the ball just flicks through and revert. Fernandez-Garrido tangles with Lakoseljac and then charged down by Joel Stone. Is falling in the direction of Fernandez-Garrido again now. Lovely little turn and another little turn on Semler. He plays the ball through to Henry Andrews. Swings the ball in first time, but Ali Dalla can't quite get there as the ball falls to Morton and he clears his lines in the Iski Van Dorn direction. As this final just starts to heat up a little bit as Devonport are piling on the pressure here. 5 minutes to go as Henry Andrews is through it and just gets across and fouls. Biggin, I think it was.
Yeah, it's Biggin there making the clearance.
Yeah, just a little bit late. It's so hard to control yourself in tackles when it's a cup final, you're through on goal. You probably know you're not going to get there first.
You've got to go for it though, in case they make a mistake, in case of a deflection.
It's so hard to just pull yourself out of those tackles.
As we mentioned before, Fernandez-Garrido, it does take a while to warm up and then absolutely runs Lockie Semler a bath on the far side.
According to you, Paul, this is his time. It's the 42nd minute, I think, so it's his time, I think, by the sounds of it.
One in every 10 things I say makes sense. Is Biggin shaping up to take this one short. Oh, good to hear the horns from behind the goal. Love a bit more noise at KG5. Noticing the Valley Road Elite choosing a different end of the ground this year to last year, over on the right-hand side for the last cup final.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll follow the South Hobart keeper just to stay in his ear for the remainder of the match, or they'll stay down the end with Keegan. I reckon you might see him down the other end of the match as Divon just driving into the Devonport defenders, trying to turn Murati. Swings it in on his left foot to the far stick as Iski Van Dorn is there free, and Ali Dalla just helps out Toby Barton and nods things out for a corner. Good tracking back there from Dalla.
It was, and Dorn just struggling a little to get into this game after sort of the 20-minute mark. He's had to deal with a lot of more bobbling balls, which Connor Park and Mulroney are just going to lean over the top of him and head clear with great ease for the most part. Just need to get him on the ball a bit more as he wheels around to the top of the 18-yard box as the corner comes in towards the back stick, and Keegan Smith was scrambling and eventually over the top. And it's very annoyed Luke Biggin, and Smith maybe just lost that in the sun temporarily, I think.
Yeah, it's always hard to backtrack on balls like that that are swinging in on you. They can tend to find themselves nestling in the far top corner. But, yeah, fortunately for Devonport, Biggin wasn't quite able to get his header on target there as Park releases Fernandez-Garrido, drops it off to Andrews, who's looking to switch the play, but he doesn't quite see the run of Ali Dalla here on the near side. Happened a couple of times here where Devonport have sprung a player in behind and the pass hasn't been picked correctly. Fernandez-Garrido looking to come inside again, dribbling with the boys, come alive after this 40th minute as Paul Hunt called earlier. Devonport again looking to play. Okay, a free kick paid there. I think it was a bit of a shirt tug there, but Devonport in possession. Not sure you really need to call that one up, but Devonport have been dangerous from set pieces so far in this first half, and coming into the final couple of minutes of this first half here in the Milan Lakoseljac Memorial Trophy, Taylor Last is going to look to plonk this one on the head of Kieran Mulroney, I would think. As the scoreboard stopped working, the timer has now gone off the scoreboard.
I was just about to say.
We put the mockers on that too. We put the mockers on everything today.
Absolutely have. And Upman Hart calling it by the real official full name of this trophy as well. That is areas I absolutely love. He's getting pretty vocal there on the far sideline. Mulroney finding a bit of space to move into here at the moment. I wonder if that's a likely target. It goes a bit closer towards the near post. Farrell clears with the boot. Bidwell, Dalla. Not really there unless Stone can get there first, which he does. Driving ball, well cleared, and back towards...
Lack is in a heap of pain.
He
just blocked that shot then, and as he turned, I think he just reached for his shoulder again. So he's absolutely feeling it out there at the minute. His arm's not moving at all. I don't think he's on camera at the minute, but he's in a world of hurt. Number 9 there for South Hobart in the middle of the field.
Another couple of minutes, and he'll be able to get 15 minutes of treatment on that, as it's a lovely ball towards Ali Dulla. It's the problem. It's the first goal of the game. Ali Dulla, lovely through ball. There's the flip that we've come to love here at Slice of Cheese, and Ali Dulla makes the difference so far. Gorgeous through ball underneath the keeper. 1-0 Strikers.
That is a fantastic through ball from Joel Stone, and that's the kind of creativity he brings to this team. He picks it up in that half space, picks it up in that space where the centre-backs don't know where they come out to press him, and the Sixers lost track of him, and he just slides it through to Dulla, who is so quick. You see Joel just left foot all the way through. And I actually think the defender kicks it into Ali Dulla.
He does, yeah.
Ali Dulla was winding up, yeah.
I was getting ready to say great clearance by Havainen, and he's actually got there first. He was whacked it into the leg.
Was it Hawaiian as well? That's going to create some banter, surely.
Absolutely. It's just before half-time, right on the cusp of half-time. That's the second time they've scored around this time period at KG5 this year, the Strikers. And they are... And I knew Nick Morton was going to do that. They're not learning their lesson from... There's now Fernandez-Garrido charging that one out, skipping past Lakoseljac, who just hangs a limb out, wants to have a few words.
I don't think there was a heap of contact there, Paul. I'm not going to lie. I think Fernandez-Garrido just jinked it past him and sort of just trailed the leg a little bit. I don't actually think Laka got too much of him there.
I think he just saw that the leg was going to dangle there no matter what, and thought, we got time to whip another ball in here before the end of the half. And looks like Stone and Last having another conversation about it. It's very central, these free kicks. I'm curious if they'll put someone out in the wing to try and get a bit more of an angle. It's hard for people like Mulroney to attack from this position.
Yeah, you see Kieran Mulroney run towards the penalty spot there. It's dropping straight towards him. They do look for him quite prominently as Taylor picks it up again, then swings the ball to a fast stick, but doesn't have enough carry on it. Henry Andrews picks up the second ball. As referee Brenton Copper blows half-time. Here as Devonport take a 1-0 lead, but they just got in the 44th minute here at KG5. 1-0 Devonport over South Hobart in this Lakoseljac Cup final here in 2022. The winner, of course, progressing to the Australia Cup round of 32, which will be played later in this year.
Yeah, it's been a really even contest. A couple of chances for each side, but it was Ali Dulla that has made the difference so far. Devonport Strikers faithful, as you can hear, very happy with them travelling down once again towards Hobart, but hoping to go away with more silverware. A few protestations towards the referee as well. Towards that, it was getting a little spicy, particularly Havainen v Ali Dulla. It's shaping up to be a fantastic contest in this second half. Do join us. We'll be back in about 14 minutes for what should be a fantastic second half in this Lakoseljac Cup final. And we're back for the second half of the 2022 Lakoseljac Cup final here between Devonport Strikers and South Hobart, doubling as the Australia Cup round of 32. There's one for the bingo card when I first say FFA Cup after my W League slip earlier on in the women's. Devonport Strikers 1-0 to the good thanks to a goal from Ali Dalla. As may have just seen with the feed coming back live, a substitution for South Hobart. Bradley Lakoseljac unable to continue, battled through that first half with a shoulder injury, but has been replaced by Gus Higgins as Brenton Copra about to blow his whistle and get us back underway here. And again, for those who weren't here for the first half, my name is Paul Hunt. Joining me is Nathan Pitchford, who will get his thoughts on what might happen in the second half shortly as Berezanski begins attacking very early on here for South, and that should be a goal kick awarded from the referee. And good to see Copra still out there after suffering from that falcon in the first half as well. Yeah,
unfortunately, Laka not able to continue in the game. He was obviously pretty hampered, I think, throughout that first half. He sits pretty deep naturally. He's at 6. That's a more defensive midfielder, but he wasn't overly involved and did well to get through the remainder of the half in some pretty obvious discomfort, as Mr. Copper has probably had a couple of Panadol at half-time to get rid of his headache, I reckon, after wearing that one fair in the face.
I reckon so, and yeah, Lakoseljac was essentially running with one arm, which you can do for so long, as Martin gets in before Van Dorn and lays it off to Stone, whose lovely through ball set up that first goal for the Strikers, and not quite on the same page with goal scorer Ali Dalla on that occasion. Bidwell strong in the challenge as Mulroney sends young Divon flying across the ground.
Yeah, look, I know we've had a few 1-0 finals between 16 and 2018 between Devonport and South Hobart, both coming out in the favour of Devonport as it is now, but I'd be surprised if it stays the same, to be honest with you, Paul. I think we'll see another goal, at least one more goal in this game, I think. I think it'll start to open up. I think the wind has settled down a little bit too, potentially, which might play nicely into the hands of South Hobart, who had the wind in the first half as well, so Devonport not getting that wind advantage. But yeah, I'd be surprised if there wasn't another goal or something in this game, as goal kick to Devonport, as I think Toby Barton didn't get a touch on that one.
No, that's the right call from Brenton Copra there. Yeah, the wind slightly died down, but it'll probably pick up again in 5 minutes' time. It's just cooling things down, and as mentioned before, it's going from the left to right of your screen, and Jake Hayes opting not to have the cap, and he's going to have a very sore arm if he's going to have his hand there for the entire second half, just shielding the sun from his eyes. His ball goes towards free kick given. It's getting up to his feet nice and early for a quick chirp is Joel Stone, not unlike the kid.
Vainan's been pretty prominent in the banter stakes so far.
Still having a quick chat with Joel Stone, a slice of cheese favourite for these kind of antics, as most of the Valley Road elite have moved goals to just try to put the mockers on JK as a smidge. There's 2, 4, 6 players up for the Strikers. Kieran Mulroney a likely target, who's trying to get some space. And Hayes comfortably collecting that one. Plenty of Strikers players in front and plenty of air horns behind as well. And that one holding up in the breeze, and Berezanski going up against Toby Barton. Throw in taken quickly. Morton. All cleared by Moradi. Out for Barton. He's taking the tempo out. One out of the field of play, so neither side really connecting too many passes to start this second half.
Yeah, looking very similar to the first half, Paul, and a little bit cagey, not real clean to start this second half, as Taylor Last looks to launch longs, dwells on it a bit too much. Falls to Berezanski. Just got away from Charles Bidwell there, and Joel Stone battling with Lancaster, and Joel Stone just pushes him to the ground after losing as Toby Barton just gets in there on Iski Van Dorn, as Lancaster looks like he may have fallen a bit awkwardly on a hand there. He looks like he comes up a bit proppy from that one. Might have put his arm out to stabilise himself as he fell.
Yes, Joel Stone having almost a bit of a don't argue there as he fell to the ground as another player.
Kieran Mulroney, I think it is, on the far side.
Down on the ground. Mulroney just checking the head there by the looks of it.
Not sure if the effects mites are picking up the ever-present Richard Bledell, who is at so many South Hobart games and supports very strongly against anyone other than South Hobart as the ball comes in from Semler right on the head of Keegan Smith, who just palms it down and comes away with it pretty comfortably.
He's just in two minds there. I thought he was tempted to roll it out and then spotted the South Hobart player, and in the end holds his ground and kicks it high into the sky.
And Wayne does well to win that header there. Difficult looking into the sun there from such a high kick. As Barton charges in. And I'm not sure who he's collected there, but that one looked like quite a rash tackle there from Toby Barton. He's not one to pull out of things. Big Toby. I'm not sure who's down on the ground there, but it looks like he's pulled up pretty sore.
Yeah, stopped with a thud there from Toby Barton, left both legs in on that challenge and didn't get there first.
He's one of the more physically prominent left backs in the competition, and that you'll see. He's probably one of the tallest players out there, and very solidly built. Toby, he's not known for mucking around in some of his challenges.
Yeah, one of the more defensive-minded left backs. Not these sort of new breed of left backs who tend to get all the way up and down the park and more built like centre midfielders these days, but there is some concern on the ground there. I think it might be Lancaster on the deck.
No, Lancaster's walking away.
No, that's him walking away.
It was Iski Van Dorn.
And it's Iski.
Yep. They've had a good little battle in that first half, Barton and Iski Van Dorn, so it looks like that's going to set to continue now. You don't take too kindly to being flattened by someone. Devon drags Kieran Mulroney a long way out of position there, but second defender comes in to give Kieran Mulroney a little bit of relief as he's caught way out on the left back position, but Toby Barton replaces him in the centre of defence as Ali Dalla battles well to come away with the ball. Lancaster across well, wins the ball back for his team before swinging it in the Morton direction. It's cut out by Fahim Muradi, who looks to just relieve the pressure a little bit and let Henry Andrews chase things down.
Andrews just blocking off that quick early ball to Semler and forcing Farrell to go all the way back, and South Hobart end up clearing it out into touch. So good pressure there from the strikers. Stone, the players up ahead, up against Lancaster and Havainen, and he just left that one behind. Did Joel Stone. And Havainen will take the throw in.
It'll be interesting to see what South Hobart are going to try to do to counteract this deficit here. Looks like they've come out with a pretty similar setup, and Gus Higgins looks like he's directly replaced Lakoseljac as Ali Dalla tries to get the ball in the direction of Fernandez Garrido, but just can't quite bring it under control as Henry Andrews picks it up and plays it back to his striker. Under some close attention from Berezanski, who's done very well there to win the ball back for his side. Plays the ball up the line in a different direction. He beats Connor Park to it. Connor Park keeps the ball in, apparently. Berezanski picks it up again, and Connor Park in a bit of a tangle with Berezanski. Lies on the ball and then gets kicked at by Berezanski. And it is a South Hobart free kick, apparently, out of all that.
A little bit of sympathy for Connor Park there. He's got two hands shoved in the chest, ended up on the ground. Really due to no fault of his own. I think it's been given as a handball against him when he's fallen over, but the only reason he's fallen over is he got pushed in the chest. So a little bit of sympathy for Connor Park there, obviously happening right in front of us in the KG5 grandstand. One of the incidents we've had a better view of is Lockie Semler over this set piece, swings it in near post, and Mulroney nearly there, and a good save from Keegan Smith. Josh Devon coming across his near post, putting that one on target. Another strong save from Keegan Smith.
Yeah, did fantastically well to get across to his right-hand side and palm that one around the post, did Keegan Smith. Good header from Devon there, running away from goal to get the ball with that much power back on target. Nice little set play there from South Hobart. Looked to pile on the pressure early in this second half on Devonport as Berezanski swings the corner in right into the mixer as two players tangle. and the header goes harmlessly over the bar there. Not sure what happened there in that tangle. It's like Higgins and Stone running into each other there at some point.
It looked like they sort of grappled each other to the ground. I reckon that's maybe what Brenton Copper has seen as well. Just sort of the two players getting entangled off the ball as well, not necessarily looking at the back corner of the 18-yard box in that situation. Keegan Smith, the height and reach of he made that save look arguably easier than it would be for a few other keepers in the league. Yeah,
definitely. He's great stature, isn't he? He's big, tall, long limbs. Pretty traditional stature for a goalkeeper that's looking to play at the high level. They don't typically take the vertically challenged goalkeepers like myself.
Obviously Keegan Smith with 5 A-League men's games under his belt, and the infamous viral video of him trying to tease Massimo Macarone, where you may have heard his name before, those interstate avid niche A-League viewers, of which is usually me or me, as Lockie Semler with the shot just wide of the goal. Keegan Smith not quite getting a hand to that one, going wide, but good power on the shot from the young left back.
Again, you see how quickly South Hobart go from side to side and from one end to the other. He swung that ball really quickly, and it just fell to Semler there, who got good connection with it. I think Keegan Smith might have had it covered. But, it was a fantastic first-time strike there from the young left back, pushing on, which is a pretty typical thing you see from the South Hobart team with those wing-backs that overlap very, very well. You saw Adam Gorry in years gone past and players like that, and Semler looking to pick up that mantle.
Absolutely. As we saw Havainen score in that 2019 Lakoseljac Cup from fullback, and as Duller flicks it forward towards Fernandez Garrido Stone. He wanted to flick that one, but wasn't quite sure where Garrido was. He keeps possession, runs it Higgins, who knocks it out for a throw-in. Still slightly wary of JK. He's not wearing a cap with the sun still shining here at KG5, especially if there's any corners or free kicks. I'd be personally putting that right on top of his noggin.
Yeah, especially from this near side, Paul. Absolutely swing it out. Far side's not going to hamper him too much unless the ball gets into the far stick, as I think it was Joel Stone looking to drive that cross in. Henry Andrews trying to pick that one up. Can't quite get it down to himself. Toby Barton cleans up for Devonport. Didn't have too many options. Just dinks it forward. And Gus Higgins get there first to release Divon. Kieran Mulroney clears under pressure from Nick Morton. As no Devonport players choose to jump for that header, and South Hobart are able to just clear a little bit and just bring it under control, but well tackled there by Fahim Maradi.
Divon gets that one for himself and will eventually get it. Josh Divon making the step up to the Lakoseljac Cup final from the under-20 statewide cup final that last year he put in a man of the match performance on. As he'll now look to take this throw, but lays it off to Semler. Jaden Hay lurking on the subs bench in front of there as Barazanski trying to get the ball back, and surely fouls Lust in the back. He doesn't. Lust gets back to his feet. 3 or 4 players have a nibble as Morton now goes and just getting a toe in was Maradi as Fernandez Garrido up against Farrell. Morton, plenty of strength and spice in a few of these challenges as Fernandez Garrido calmly lays it off towards Last, who surely is fouled this time.
He's got that little dink and drop down pat, doesn't he, Taylor Last? He's done that twice now, just sort of pull the ball away and sort of leave the legs there for a second. He's earned himself a free kick there. That one was probably a little bit more obvious than the previous one. As you can see Devonport slowing it down and then looking to go back through the middle instead of just sort of dropping it off and swinging it long like South Hobart potentially would have in that situation. As the long ball forward from Connor Parks brings in Fernandez Garrido. And Loic Farrell gets across to knock the ball out for a corner here on the near side at KG5. There's a contingent of there. The Devonport fans do appear to have followed JK's down the far end, Paul.
1,000%.
Taking their horn with them, I assume.
See if the left-footed in-swinger.
Nah, this will be Taylor Last on this one.
They're not going to mix it up, but he has. Mulroney's giving some instructions to Joel Stone out on the far side. As Taylor Last goes short towards Fernandez Garrido, wants to get onto that right peg, gets past 2 and then theatrically flops to the ground.
Need some advice from Taylor Last on that one, I think, because that one was... as Fahim Maradi unnecessarily tries to bicycle kick the ball in the middle of the field and has released South Hobart effectively as Josh Diven chases down Connor Park, but the ball's cleared up the line. I'm not entirely sure that was necessary. Must have known that there was a strong live stream happening here today for him, Maradi, to attempt that one. As Kieran Mulroney does what defenders probably should do more often and just try to clear the ball up the line as Fernandez Garrido nips in and steals the ball off the South Hobart defenders, but finds himself all alone as Joel Stone, Charles Biddle and Ali Dalla streaming into the box now. Dinks inside onto his right foot, finds Charles Biddle, does a little turn, finds Garrido again. Plays it backwards to Ali Dalla, who drives in, looks across the ball with the left foot. No one there for Devonport, and it's just cleared by South Hobart. Interesting end-to-end spell of play here between the two teams in the first few minutes this second half here. As Nick Morton was looking to swing in Iski Van Dorn on the far side.
Now, I think probably just waited a second to see if he was going to get that pass off, and wasn't quite that open. Pretty obvious shirt pull there from Maradi, who was clearly going for something for the highlight reel there. Clearly wanted to do something spectacular, as just before Fernandez Garrido doing his best Ignacio Giampaoli impersonation of dives at that end of KG5.
Yeah, there are some. Luckily, Jaden Hayes isn't on the field. I would have found himself in trouble for remonstrating. That's probably a sore point for
probably
a certain number of now Clarence Zebra supporters, Hobart Zebras, when that incident occurred, obviously.
Yeah, does with that merger, does their previous interactions and saltiness over decisions come across? I don't know.
Based on the personnel involved at the club, Paul, I'd say yes. A very strong yes. It's a very, very similar managerial and committee sort of setup there, so I think they'd still be pretty dirty on that.
It was a quarter-final from memory of the Lakoseljac Cup in 2019, and Devonport's road to the final that year. Very infamous incident down in that corner.
It was a very similar dive. That was, I don't know. There's not a lot of cards given for diving these days, but that is a pretty prime candidate, so I don't even think there's contact.
Yeah, I think if you're not giving it for that one, you're really not giving it at all in that situation, as the Strikers have a free kick as we tick past the hour mark. Neither side in a great hurry to make any other substitutions. Over South Hobart making one, enforced one at half-time.
This is the angle for Jake Hayes. Do you know what I mean? The sun's directly in his eyes here now, so I don't know if the sun's probably still high enough that the cap would help, but
he's actually standing in the light tower shade.
And Taylor Last hangs it up towards the far stick as Toby Barton doesn't quite get a head on it, falls to the ground again. Andrews at the edge of the box, swings it in and just sings past the post. Henry Andrews has scored a couple from outside the box already this year, and that one's set up nicely for him, but just whistled past that right-hand upright of Jake Hayes, who may not have seen a lot of it with the bodies in front of him.
He's hit that well, Henry Andrews. Just didn't quite have that curl going right into that top corner, but another good sider for the Strikers as Luke Farrell gets it off towards Higgins. Morton dropping deeper and deeper in order to collect the ball. That's when Maradi tries to go the kick, and Brenton Copper is given a foul for
a high boot. I think it's Copper is signalling for.
I think the South Hobart player, they're being punished for having probably slightly more leg flexibility than the Devonport one on that occasion. He just managed to get his boot higher.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because they've got both their feet up there, and Iski got to the ball first, so
entirely sure of that one. Is Fernandez Garrido now getting in behind Farrell, whips it in towards the back post. Dalla waiting as is Stone, wanted that to settle for him. Tries to get on the right boot, but good challenge in the end there from Lancaster. Now Van Dorn going in the wrong direction at the moment. Iski Van Dorn, and Fernandez Garrido is just shirt pulling him at the moment, and then a little bit of afters, and Iski Van Dorn is adjudged to have fouled Fernandez Garrido on that occasion. A few South Hobart fans not quite sure about that one.
I'm not quite sure about that one either, Paul, because I think Fernandez Garrido clearly held Iski Van Dorn back then, and the free kick's been given for the retaliation, which, obviously that happens sometimes. The perpetrator sometimes gets off scot-free, and the person who's remonstrating cops a free kick, but this is fairly obvious as we're just waiting for the replay to pop up on the live stream. Garrido steps across in front, holds him back.
I mean, even that initial contact is almost a foul in itself of him coming across.
The ball was 100% gone there, so I think KGV Van Dorn pretty filthy on that one, as understandably I will be. As Kenny Morton is arm around Jaden Hay on the bench here, looking to make a change as Taylor Last dinks the ball in to a sea of South Hobart defenders. There wasn't too many Devonport players as an option there. South Hobart can't quite clear their lines, and Henry Andrews keeps things alive. As Iski Van Dorn picks the ball up out on the wing here, he's under close attention from Henry Andrews, and Iski Van Dorn looks to push on very quickly, and this quick throw in as Charles Bidwell gets across and wins the ball and looks to release Fernandez Garrido, who's in on goal, takes a touch around Luke Biggin. Can he finish? He slots the ball into the bottom corner, and Fernandez Garrido puts the Devonport Strikers 2-0 up here at KG5. A chance from absolutely nothing. If anything, South Hobart were on the break, but Charles Bidwell, as he does so often for the Devonport Strikers, gets across and snuffs out the attack and is able to swing the counter attack down the other end. And Fernandez Garrido with a beautiful little jink inside, I think, on Luke Biggin, and then just sweeps the ball into the bottom corner.
Yeah, the Valley Road Elite loving that one behind the goal. Fernandez Garrido, as you mentioned, Pitchy, almost a goal out of nothing. Bidwell's just won the challenge and thumped it up forward. Fernandez Garrido getting back inside, had plenty of time, and really the keeper's on a bit of an island in that kind of situation. Cooley into the back corner, and the Strikers 2-0 to the good. 25 minutes left. We've had some pretty dramatic finishes here in Cup finals past. South Hobart with it all to do, and I'm not sure if Ken Morton, we mentioned he had his arm around Jaden Hay, nominally a more defensive-minded midfielder. See if he makes any attacking changes coming up, as it's all the attacking needs to be done by South Hobart if they are to get back into this one. Strikers, Fernandez Garrido, just that touch of quality they've got, and now Duller, Andrews and Garrido. Look at the amount of space Taylor Last is in, and Duller gets himself a bit confused. And Brenton Copra points to the spot. Ali Duller tricking between three South Hobart players, and Pitchy, you seem to agree with that decision.
Yeah, I mean, he just towed the ball away as the second South Hobart defender came across, and there was contact. And there's not a huge amount of contact, but the South Hobart defender's gone through and made contact with the upper body of Ali Duller. So I'm not sure you can argue that one too much. I'm sure people will, don't get me wrong, and I know people will blame me for being biased, etc., but I don't know if you can argue that one too much.
Look, I'm about to back you up on that one. Out of all of the Duller v Havainen and South Hobart incidents, he just gets between enough of them. And to be fair to South, you can also tell about 9 of the South Hobart players did not bother appealing that in the slightest. Didn't bother. So I think that's usually a pretty good sign. Yeah, and we will see a sub from South soon, but before that, Fernandez Garrido from the spot up against Jake Hayes.
But here we go again, mate. Fernandez Garrido hasn't been super involved in the game, and has just come alive in this last few minutes here, and it's been sprung in the back, and then he's got the penalty. So yeah, interesting. Ali Duller, very, very dangerous with the ball at his feet, driving in at defenders like that, and just sucked one or two of them in, and it looked like a tired tackle, if you know what I mean. It looked like so, just a bit lazy, just a bit complacent.
Yeah, just your feet, I guess, as quick as they were at the opening outset of the game, as South won't make this sub. And making sure, I'm assuming he stays on his line, and everything is all above board for Hayes.
Which side's he going for?
I reckon he's going left from our view.
Keeper's right?
Yeah, keeper's right.
I'm gonna go the opposite.
Righty, as Fernandez Garrido lines up. Brenton Chopra on the whistle. Garrido versus Hayes. Silence. Hits KG5. It's Fernandez Garrido. Oh, just into the bottom corner. He didn't hit that with too much power. And Hayes diving across, but it's just in the corner enough to the keeper's left. And that is Devonport 3, South Hobart 0, and probably the sealer.
Yeah, look, Jake Hayes went the right way there. He waited well, because Garrido always has that trademark little jink in his run up, and just sort of slowed things down. And Hayes did well to hold his ground for long enough, but just couldn't get a strong enough hand to that one, Jake Hayes. Really unfortunate for the young goalkeeper. He picked the right way, and Fernandez Garrido certainly didn't hit that one crisply. Just wasn't able to kick that ball out, unfortunately, Jake Hayes. As Sam Berezanski makes way for Jaden Hay for South Hobart. Interesting to see where Jaden Hay slots into. Looks like he could potentially be slotting into an attacking midfield type position as South Hobart load up this left-hand wing and look for Nick Morton to launch the ball in their direction. As Gus Higgins just nods the ball on, and Henry Andrews nips in quickly. South Hobart immediately on the offensive through that man Jaden Hay, who's just come off the bench to provide that French legs but he can't quite keep the ball in, and it dribbles out for a Devonport goal kick, and they'll be in absolutely no rush to take this. And in fact, they're going to make a substitution here with Sin Mohammadi coming on to replace Joel Stone.
Yeah,
Pretty common thing here. Affectionately known as Joe Stone, after a typographical error in the Advocate a couple of years ago.
I wonder if that was the fault of the gentleman behind us.
I'm not entirely sure, but somebody did refer to him as Joe Stone in the Advocate a little while ago, and we've never let him live it down. So he's had a good game today. That assist for the first goal was absolutely first class.
Absolutely, it was. That kind of mistake wouldn't happen these days in the Advocate, not with the prime footballing journalists they have there now compared to previously. As you can hear the laughter in the background. The former and current Advocate journalist is sitting behind me at the moment. As one of them pointed out to me that penalty before from Fernandez Garrido, reminiscent of Toby Barton's last year in the penalty shootout.
Very much so, very much so. Big Toby didn't quite get the full contact with that one, but I think it worked out for him in the end as Ali Dalla takes a tumble on the far side all by himself. It's the synthetic turf.
Absolutely. What do you think of it? This particular one, because I know they're all because I've played at Warrior Park more than this one.
Yep.
I prefer Warriors, which is saying something.
Oh, yeah. See, look, it's hard because you get used to whatever surface you're on. Some people hate playing at Valley Road.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's distinct advantages to all kinds of surfaces. My issue with this one is that it hasn't been upkept. When it was first installed, it was very good. But now you can visibly see the tracks where the matting interlocked. You can visibly see it, which means it makes ridges. And you do occasionally see people trip on it. There are spots on this ground where you can get your foot under the overlaps between the matting. So my issue isn't with the actual surface, it's with the upkeep and the maintenance of it. It just clearly hasn't been maintained. It's an expensive venue, and it just has not been maintained the way it potentially could have been or should have been. But having said that, I vehemently dislike this ground. It's a shocking surface with concrete walls about a metre away from the sideline, and it's just...
That's the bit I don't like the most either, because weirdly I find there's a little bit of afters going on. Fernandez Garrido and Nick Morton.
Interesting to listen to the chat between those two.
Yeah, I think Nick Morton's just a bit upset he doesn't have Stoney to go up against for the next 20-odd minutes, so it's just...
They do often bring out the best in each other, those two.
Don't they ever?
Joel and Nick. It's always an entertaining battle to watch those two, but they didn't really line up on each other today, because I think in the last couple of seasons, Nick has played a little bit deeper and dropped in, which has given him direct opposition to Joel, who typically plays in that 10 position. Whereas, as you see, Charles Biddle charge through a few South Hobart players and come out the other side with the ball, one of which being Nick Morton.
So Charles, he's better Bidwell, but when he's whipping out step overs on the wing, this game is pretty much in the books. You've got to say, as Marati's getting forward, Dulla trying to stay on side. Mace keeps his flag down. Dulla trying to jink past and gets it between two. Marati now flipping it up. Hayes challenging on the deck. He's just about caught that. The Devonport player, not the goalkeeper. And I think that's been given to handball as the Bronx cheers and Henry Andrews throwing that in the net. He just about came down catching that one.
Yeah, good little contest there in the box. I think the free kick was actually given for Henry being on the ball, like much like what we saw with Connor Park earlier on. I don't think there was a foul on the keeper there.
No, I tend to agree with you there, as Mohammadi blocks that one out of play. To see a team sheet with him with the correct number on it. I got absolutely deceived last time he came here. It was a completely different number to what I had on my team sheet.
It's an interesting one, Paul. Would you pick the same number every time you played, or would you just pick out what you want?
Nah, same number every time.
Yes, I mean, I never really had too many issues with it, obviously.
No, you don't. You can kind of have either one or anything above. Well, percentage, you can have whatever you want. No, always try to get the same number. Always try to get number 2 or 22, or at a pinch 4 or 5.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Like the consistency is Connor Park. Where's that one? Heaves that one down the sideline, and obviously 23, one of the many in vogue higher numbers. I do like that no one bothers to wear 99 or anything too silly in this competition.
The university teams of the past used to buy, from what I could tell, used to basically buy 100 strips and number them 2 to 100.
Yeah.
And from their senior team all the way down through their socials, just whatever number you ended up with. So they'd have players playing in their senior team with some pretty ludicrous numbers.
I went up, watched a Champ 1 game, well, it must have been last year, Uni v Metro, and it was Metro that had 133 on the field. As
that's Mohammadi, a special request.
That one out of play. There was at least 3 people with over 100.
That'd have to be a special request.
Have to be. Not
one that as a club representative I probably would not oblige.
Yeah, I would reject that on many grounds. Just trying to make it fit. Hopefully, you don't have to pay per number on the back either. I mean, that gets expensive for a club. As we see Taylor Last.
In-swinging left footer here with Yassin Mohammadi taking this one. Drops the ball in at the near post. Pet peeve there, not beating the first man.
Here is the usual corner kick taker in Taylor Last, lobbing that one forward. Brady with the volley. He's offside. His eyes lit up then, did the captain. He was tempted to go with the header, but he's like, I'm 3-0 up. I'm the captain. Let's try the volley.
If he wasn't offside, he would never live that down. I don't think that one. That's an absolute lollipop for Captain Kieran Mulroney there. He should have gone the diving header.
He really should have.
It's his most reliable weapon.
We obviously saw him score last year in the cup final from a similar range out on the other side of that particular goal to the right. Jaden Hayes about to get tackled from Taylor Last. He did not see that coming at all. Offside is Fernandez Garrido, ruining what would be a one-on-one for Ali Dulla.
Absolutely.
On that far sideline. Just didn't quite get back.
Biggin actually stepped up well there to play Fernandez Garrido offside. Just held his run, or just sort of stepped up a little bit. And as we see Devonport going to the bench again, it looks like Ali Dulla, the penalty winner for Devonport City Strikers, is going to be making way for last year's league-leading scorer in the NPL Tasmania competition, Brodie Dennehy, who has found it pretty hard to crack into the starting 11 this year, despite his goal-scoring prowess of previous years. So he'll be looking to try and make an impact as he comes on now.
I think the difference with Devonport and all the other teams in the league this season, and indeed in the Cup, when you can bring on last year's, not just Devonport leading scorer, but league leading scorer on as a 75th minute sub, as Higgins and Bidwell were getting in a shirt pulling grab there. Divin, Risky Van Dorn, not quite making the purchase he wanted with that one, and Dennehy trying to use those fresh legs on the far sideline. Won't quite get a second bite at the cherry as Van Dorn knocks it towards Jaden Hay. Morati getting that one tangled in his feet, and in the end goes safety first. Dennehy doing a good job of trying to keep that one in. Devonport, curious to see if they fully utilise their bench and try and give as many people who've made the trip down a run as possible. That's surely a foul by the better Bidwell.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this one's going to be for persistent infringement, the number of fouls he's given away today, or this one's going to be for that individual tackle. Either way, probably fair enough. It was fairly cynical.
As we see a slice of cheese dished out to Bidwell, and maybe Devonport see what happens from this set piece. Keegan Smith still barking out instructions to his wall. Want to get moved a bit further to the right. I can't quite hear Keegan Smith from the goal line as well as I could hear you.
He wanted another one in the wall.
Okay, that's what he was after.
That's what his main complaint was, I think.
I do miss having you out there when you could actually literally hear what the hell you were saying. It made life very easy up here.
It's a blessing and a curse in a way, Paul, because people can hear exactly what I'm saying sometimes, and they probably don't need to hear me that often, to be fair. I do appreciate people at home putting up with me for this 90 minutes.
Oh, look, it's been a pleasure having you onto the cold pitch, and we hope to see you in a few more Strikers games for the rest of the NPL season, as Semler dinks this one towards the back stiff. That's a comfortable chest grab for Keegan Smith. We'll see if he goes to quick distribution or not. And he does, but a bit too central. It was Andrews who was in a good pocket of space. Now Dennehy. Down the line is Andrews. Isky Van Dorn chasing back on this occasion. Just hits that one to the top of the box, away from most of his team. Now Morati. Hay. Divin up against Park, turning the defender well, but not having too many options in that direction, Josh Divin. Jaden Hay, will he launch one of his long throws? He does.
In the Nick Morton direction down here in the left-hand corner as Connor Park gets across to block the cross. And it's out for a South Hobart corner here on the near side. Morton looking to take that one, trying to get things going quickly rather than slowing things down, waiting for a different corner taker, as Tobias Havanen looks to cause a bit of chaos in the box there, standing right on top of Keegan Smith's toe. So Nick Morton takes this one straight in that direction, but blocked at the near post by Connor Park, and out for another corner for South Hobart.
Another one not really clearing first man at the near post.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to put it right in front of Keegan Smith to get that block from Havanen, as Toby Barton clears that header very well in the direction of Brody Dennehy, who gets there in front of Iski Van Dorn. Iski Van Dorn does a terrific job of coming across from the middle of the field and looking to overlap Nick Morton now, who dinks it into the middle of the box in the Kieran Mulroney direction. Heads that ball away comfortably, and Jaden Hay then nods it back to Nick Morton, who might look to reload again, as he does. A little bit better delivery this time, but Kieran Mulroney again clears the ball. And you're shrugging here, Paul, because
he's just a magnet.
Yeah.
Kieran Mulroney in the centre of the park.
He reads it so well.
And they just keep crossing it in within anywhere in that central defensive area, and he just knows where it's going to go. As Dennehy's about 3 yards offside.
Yeah, big time. He's not unfamiliar with the offside, is Mr. Dennehy.
Yes, there's Brody Dennehy offside watch behind us, waiting to see how long that would happen. It was about less than 5 minutes from my calculations. Biggin launches that one forward towards Hobart. Can South get a consolation? Will they get a nutmeg on that occasion? As Hay towards Lancaster. Hobart had gone inside. Manages to get a shot away, but once again, Kieran Mulroney coming across and blocking that one out for a throw.
The breeze has just picked up again here at KG5 as well, which isn't going to be favouring South Hobart too much.
There's a long throw coming in from Hay, and that one has come off the Strikers defender, out for a corner kick. So South at least keeping a bit of territorial pressure on Devonport, if nothing else, as we have about 10 minutes to go.
Lockie Semler back on this one. Looks like South Hobart are consistently going with the in-swinger. Be interesting to see how this one goes. South Hobart load up pretty shallow and doesn't trouble anyone. You can see how close South Hobart's runners were, very close as he made contact. So it's fairly obvious that he was going to try and plonk it in that 6-yard box rather than sort of trying to keep it away from Keegan Smith there. With that, looks like South Hobart are loading up the block in front of Keegan Smith a little bit to try and prevent him from having an impact on it.
How effective do you think the block is on a keeper who is fundamentally the tallest player on the park? Because to me,
someone Keegan's size, it's very difficult if you're going to put it directly on him because he can still reach over the top and get a fist to it.
Yeah.
But if you hang it away from him and there's a block, if you sort of put it in that awkward zone right on the edge of the 6-yard box where he may come and influence it, then he definitely can't come and influence it when you've got the player on him. So it does cut him out. But when you take corners that either don't beat the first man or go straight out for a goal kick, what you're trying to set up is obviously, it's all in the execution, obviously, but it can work really, really effectively.
It just seems to me that it's probably one of the more lower percentage option corners in that situation, as Dennehy now gets in behind Biggin and charging towards the goal. Dennehy, that is one too heavy a touch, and goes out for a goal kick.
It's interesting, we're seeing a bit of a swing here in that a lot of Devonport's more recent chances have come from those quick plays as opposed to South Hobart's quick direct plays, as looks like Aaron Kidmus is going to enter the game to replace Henry Andrews. Henry Andrews has been a workmanlike performance in the middle of the park. Hasn't had too much luck. Obviously hit that screamer just past the post earlier in this second half. He's played pretty well today though, Henry. He's Aaron Kidmus, former Riverside Olympic player. And I think spent some time in the Magpie Crusaders in the Queensland Premier League as well with current coach Tom Ballantyne. Finding his way back to Tasmania with the coach.
It's almost two-way street, it appears, sometimes between Tasmania and Magpies Crusaders. Been a few links there over the past few years, as Dennehy's trying to get in behind Hayes this time, confidently getting there, much to the appreciation of the Devonport fans behind the goal, with typical Bronx cheer back there as Farrell nudged out of it from Fernandez Garrido.
I used to love that when the opposition fans were behind. I absolutely loved it.
As someone who would have played many games here for Zebras and Eagles over the years, you would know, as well as Devonport's infinite amount of away cup ties, but certainly had your fair share of them from the wet area, I can imagine.
Absolutely. It's why I love the final being here. It's when it was going to be at Lightwood Park. It's not the best spectator venue, if I'm honest, Lightwood Park.
No.
I think it is going to be a fantastic venue when it's all updated and improved and all that kind of stuff. But at the minute, if this facility wasn't in such disarray, this is clearly the best spectator venue for these types of games. Do you know what I mean?
It's as what
100%.
This and Valley Road, just for how close you can get around the grounds, and I mean, Valley Road had a green set as big as this one, I think it would be even better.
It's a little bit small. It's not quite as elevated, but the elevation here is fantastic. You've got the wet area type area behind the goal and stuff like that, and it allows the fans to get nice and close around the hole.
And I think that's what the annoying thing to me about KG5 is you can see the potential and you can see what it could be or can be. I remember being here for Tasmania versus Mariners 2010 when there was about 2,000
That was an unbelievable game to play in. That was you had 3 or 4 people deep along every fence, and it was just unbelievable. The atmosphere was absolutely fantastic here, and when you get big games, you could replicate that, with a bit more bleacher facilities and things like that. That'd be great. But I used to absolutely throw like that banter from behind the goals and stuff like that. It can make you or break you, and I don't know. I used to love it. I got a real good laugh out of it a lot of the time.
I completely forgot you played in that game till just now. I've got the Lacquer Cup final spreadsheet up, but I didn't have the interstate game spreadsheet up all game.
Myself and Ben Hamlet were the 2 players who played in both renditions of that game.
Yes.
So in 2010 and then again in 2019. So that was pretty cool to be able to play them, that far apart. As Charles Bidwell lumps this one long in the direction of absolutely no one, and JK's gets there.
Yeah, we're going through the complete history of interstate games now. I think the sting is firmly out of this Lakoseljac Cup game. I mean, I'm more than happy. I could talk about that all day as far as I'm concerned, but it really shows the football in front and sort of petering out here as Lockie Semler tries to collect that one. I mean, it's not quite that time. There was a 40-minute delay in games due to referees, and we talking about everything from Tasmanian A-League games to everything under the sun.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't seen a big change from South. There hasn't been a huge change in the way they're playing. I mean, you've still got Hawaiian, Biggin, Farrell and Semler across the back here. You've got nothing to lose. What's the difference between 3-0 and 4-0 in a cup final? As Jaden Hay comes in down the left-hand side, looks to get his cross into the box, and it finds Iski Van Dorn, who plays a return ball back, but that man, Kieran Mulroney, just nips in and steals the ball again as you sin. Mohammedi's under close attention from Lockie Semler, and he does well to come away with the ball. As Jaden Hay hacks away and tries to win the ball, and then Mohammedi just throws himself to the ground trying to win a free kick, and we've got Hawaiian swinging the ball into the box, but comfortably into the breadbasket of Keegan Smith, who immediately launches in the Brodie Dennehy direction, but just didn't quite have the distance on that one, unfortunately.
Biggin reading that one well, and Kidmus trying to do it all himself as Fernandez Garrido tries to stay onside. Flag stays down. Fernandez Garrido, good save from Hayes. Read the striker's eyes on that occasion, moved across to his right and stopped that one, but the pressure not relieved yet as Morton against Kidmus. Now Mohammedi. Farrell back to the keeper, and Hayes with the left foot knocks that one high in the sky, and that one's going to spin back in. Semler and Dawn, and now Morton clears that one, what I thought was for touch, but Divin might keep it in, and he's in an arm wrestle with Mulroney, and the experience winning out on that occasion.
Escorted him a couple of yards off the field to give himself a bit more extra room there to Kieran Mulroney, as Fernandez Garrido was about 20 yards offside, being a bit lazy getting back up with the play. Pretends to shoot, just happens to accidentally kick the ball away to try and delay things, obviously, but fantastic save there from JK. Stood up really well. It's often hard to hold your ground in those types of prolonged one-on-one situations, but he did really well to make himself big, and as you said, read Fernandez Garrido there.
As we mentioned earlier, a lot of tight contests between these sides, a lot of 1 or 2 nils in their previous meetings, as Dennehy now down on the left-hand side, Kidmus striding forward, Fernandez Garrido there, and Hayes able to pick that one up. A few ironic cheers for the back pass, which I would expect nothing less from the far end, as we're saying it's a lot of a tight contests lately, largest like a cup margin of victory, I guess, of recent years, 4-0 in South against Kingborough back in 2015, which is quite a while ago now when you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what you want from a finals day. As I was just sort of saying, I think you're starting to now see some slight changes from South Hobart in terms of it looks like Semler's starting to play a little bit higher at the field of vein, and you can see him on the halfway line here at the minute. They're not being quite as defensive, but I mean,
you needed that a while ago.
In the 88th minute, you know what I mean? Like, you're asking a lot 3-0 down to make changes now, and as Nick Morton gets things under play very quickly, but referee Brenton Copborough wasn't happy with the location of where they tried to take that one.
It was nowhere near where the foul position, absolutely nowhere near, as Copborough rightly pulls that one back.
South Hobart have been such a powerhouse for such a long time, it's hard to criticise them. Do you know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like, they're a fantastic football club and have been so successful recently. But I just would have liked some changes a little bit earlier on, I think, as Semler swings this one towards the far stick. And good little flick on there by Toby Barton, preventing Jacob Lancaster, getting at the far stick there.
I just wouldn't mind a bit more variety in their free kicks as well either. I always feel like against Devonport you've got to try something a bit different between Barton and Mulraney, and obviously when Dom Smith plays as well. I mean, they're a pretty tall defensive line, and then they've always had pretty tall, lanky keepers or ones who can come out and claim with good authority, and it's just seemed a bit one-dimensional in those set-piece areas as Semler delivers that one right over the top and out of play, and Luke Biggin just about hits my car with that clearance on the other side of Grove Road.
Yeah, look, I probably agree with you there, Paul, in terms of working around a bit. I mean, you've got players who, on the ball, are brilliant, like Yodiski Van Dorn, Nick Morton, players like that who can dribble around and create opportunities, and yet they're still trying to bomb it in on top of Kieran Mulraney and Keegan Smith. I would have liked to see a bit of variety in that. At least make it interesting.
Absolutely.
Am I asking too much?
No, I don't think we are. But Smith sets himself to take this one. I haven't seen the fourth official forward yet for the amount of stoppage time.
Should be coming up shortly, I imagine.
There's Hay. So back towards Semler. Good intercept there from Moradi. It's Fernandez Garridos run towards the sideline. Dennehy in a good pocket of space on the far side. He's that one a little hard, but Farrell does well to win a goal kick. 5 minutes of stoppage time from fourth official Nathan Coe.
Interesting.
Well, I guess the person who's got to review the fourth official's timekeeping is himself, so he might as well do the most accurate thing possible.
He's going to be pretty happy with his job there, isn't he?
He really is. He's done a real good job on the timekeeping today as the former mullet of infallibility, Nathan Coe.
I'd like that back. I think we've all called for it back. As Charles Bidwell finds himself probably offside. No, okay. Through on goal. Tries to square it to Fernandez Garrido for no apparent reason. I think he was absolutely shocked, as am I, that he wasn't offside there.
I actually thought he was onside, to be honest, but he was absolutely shocked there, Charles Bidwell.
He looked at the assistant about 4 times to say, like, are you going to flag me? And then just decided to not take his one-on-one opportunity.
I mean, if you're 3-0 up in the cover, you're just going to try to round the keeper, dink him, chip him. I mean,
definitely.
You've got to try for something in a little bit of hero mode,
particularly on the score sheet.
As I'm sure the not better Bidwell Eddie will be watching home, ready to rip into him for that.
The text would be flying through already, I reckon, after that one. Yes. Even from the best Bidwell, Anna Lee,
yes,
their younger sister.
Yeah, there's Bidwell, the better Bidwell, and the best Bidwell.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we've got an official naming convention here at Slice and Cheese for all Bidwells.
We'll give Eddie some trailblazer, first in family, or first in that generation of family to have impact at Devonport Strikers. Then Charles has come in, and then Annalise certainly made a name for herself in the WSL team at Devonport now, as Charles Bidwell just gets beaten to it by Logan Farrell. The dearth of options, unfortunately, for South Hobart. Couldn't quite do too much, as Charles Bidwell is having a whale of a time. Jake Hayes does a fantastic job there to come out and smother that one, as it just held up in the synthetic turf and gave Charles Bidwell a bit of a look at that one. I didn't actually think he was going to get anywhere near that one initially as the ball went through, but got there very well. He's having an absolutely fantastic time trying to get him behind the South Hobart defence here in the last couple of minutes.
Fantastic contact with that, did Charles Bidwell, as Devonport likely to be in the Australia Cup round of 32, eagerly awaiting who they draw on that occasion. They've had a lot of away draws to NPL Victoria teams in the past, with varying success on the field as the ball comes in from a back post towards Mulraney, and Dennehy trying to get there in front of Hayes. I'm hoping, be curious to see if they manage to draw an A-League team or similar with the upcoming draw.
Unfortunately, I think if they do draw an A-League team, I don't think it goes to Valley Road, which would be a real shame. Terrific tackle there from Nick Morton, tracking back on Yasin Mohammadi, as some people didn't think it was quite fair. It was a terrific tackle. It was for him. Maradi challenges in the air, doesn't quite fall for Jaden Hay, and Toby Barton looks to play this one down the line to Brody Dennehy, who just gets there in front of his opponent.
I think it's got to go to UTAS Stadium unless they can...
I think that's what the plans were last year, before obviously we had to pull out of that competition due to COVID restrictions and things like that.
I'd be very curious to see. My only recommendations, that's a slice of cheese for Taylor Last, who's running away from the scene of the crime there. Man, I just so want someone another NPL Victoria team, just something different. Would be nice.
I agree. Even if it's it's a different state.
Home or away. Regardless.
Absolutely. Yep.
Something to spice it up a little bit.
Well, they're regional now, though, the draws, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I don't know if we can draw anyway.
I think
outside of Victoria, New South Wales, is it?
Oh,
I can't remember who's in our
if
zone.
there's another state involved. For some reason, I thought there was, but there might
South
not be.
I'm guessing
They'd be over with WA, I think.
True.
Maybe at least a home game is something we can hope for, as that one hangs up on the penalty spot, and there's a definite push there on Connor Park, whilst he definitely made sure the referee knew about it.
Flailing arms.
Say that was
the Ginger Scotsman.
Bidwell and Keegan Smith doing their best to give the impression they want to take this quickly, and they absolutely don't.
No.
Must say, Devonport's new kit coming in very good luck. First appearance of this new yellow kit.
The yellow banana.
One appearance, one cup final victory. As Hay gets the return ball from Hobart. Dennehy not quite keeping that one in, as celebrations going back up the Midland this afternoon will be quite something, I imagine.
Fairly subdued initially, I think, given it's a dry event here at KG5 today.
Yeah, I don't know where the first destination is going to be. It's not going to be the club rooms here this afternoon. As charging through.
As I did notice that Football Tasmania even failed to provide champagne for the spraying. Yeah, I did notice that today, which is unusual.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to have an alcohol-free event, but have alcohol-free
celebrations.
Yeah, if you're being presented with the trophies a little.
Even if it's non-alcoholic, bubbly or something like that, you can spray around or something like that. I mean, you're not drinking it.
Exactly. Well, most people aren't drinking it. Some would probably still like the taste, as Higgins managed to flick that one on. And that will do it for the 2022 Lakoseljac Cup Final. Devonport Strikers 3-0 winners, and they will go through to the Australia Cup round of 32. It was a pretty dominant performance from the Strikers in the end. Ali Dalla and Fernandez Garrido doing the damage, and another Cup Final victory for the Strikers. They absolutely love this tournament and thoroughly deserved victory, in my opinion, Pitchy.
It's been a while since the team's gone back-to-back in this competition as well. I think South Hobart potentially the last team to do it in 14-15.
Yep.
So it's fantastic to see Devonport be able to go back-to-back with this particular competition. And outside of the first sort of 25-30 minutes, where South Hobart probably had some of the territory ascendancy, I think Devonport probably took the cake after that, really. Like the preceding 60-odd minutes was all in Devonport's favour, I think. And fantastic performance in the end. Come away with 3-0 winners.
Yeah, absolutely. Great work from the Strikers. South Hobart, they'll have to wait another season to see if they can get back to the Australia Cup. It's been a while since they've been there. It's been a while since they've won the trophy that has the name of one of their players' grandfathers on it. We'll stick around for the trophy presentation. We'll let the PA announcer go through that rather than doubling up. So on behalf of myself, Paul Hunt, Pitchy, it's been a pleasure to have you on commentary for this game. I hope you've enjoyed being up here almost as much as winning a penalty shootout as last year. I understand it's a little different, but I hope you've still enjoyed it nonetheless.
No, absolutely, mate. My time on the field has well and truly surpassed me, I think. And although mentally I probably tricked myself into believing I could still be out there, physically I don't think I'd be able to quite perform as well as someone like Keegan Smith, who's been a fantastic replacement. So certainly no jealousy with me up here, mate. It's been absolutely fantastic experience to be able to commentate this game with you today, mate. I've enjoyed having a partner in crime here today, actually, rather than doing it all myself with a freezing cold hand mic. So no, thanks for having me, mate. It's been fantastic.
It's fantastic to have someone with your track record on the field up in the commentary box, and may it continue. So thank you very much for joining us. We will keep the live stream on for those of you wanting to see Devonport's trophy lift up shortly. It's from myself, Paul Hunt, and Pitchy Pitchford. It's been a pleasure to bring this to you as Devonport Strikers are 2022 Lakoseljac Cup champions.
Congratulations to our 2022 Lakoseljac Cup champions, Devonport. We have our Lakoseljac family here, Neridine and grandchildren Sarah and Jada, to assist with the presentation of medals. Firstly, I'll welcome our referee, Opera, who served a pretty good head knock first thing in the game, so well done, Brenton. Assisted by Thomas Mason and Josh Berry, and our fourth official, Nathan Coe. Our Lakoseljac Cup is proudly supported by McDonald's today, who have provided us with a player of the match. This has been provided by a few neutral parties who have come together, and the winner of our player of match is Devonport strikers number 9, Roberto Fernando Scarrido. Hobart's captain, Nick Morton, over for a quick chat.
First of all, congratulations. Is that? Oh, no. Nice. Congratulations to the Devonport strikers on a good game and their win. Congratulations to the referees. Thanks for officiating, always a job. To our boys, hold your heads up, we'll be back, don't worry about it. And thank you to all the supporters for travelling and coming here to make the atmosphere. So, thank you very much.
And I'll welcome our captain from Devonport strikers, Kieran Mulroney.
Thanks, and thanks to South Hobart. It's a credit to the club. You've been up the top of Tassie football for as long as I've played football. It's a credit to Ken and his team, year in, year out. You're up there, you're in finals, you're competing for the league. So unfortunately it wasn't your day today, but maybe next year. Yeah, good luck the rest of the season, guys. Keep your heads up high. And to our boys, I think today, and show what we can do if we want to turn it on. It doesn't just happen. The hard work we put in pre-season, 3 nights a week, games, travelling, the boys work hard, and this is just reward, I think. Also behind the scenes, I'd like to thank everyone at the club that helps out, run by volunteers like any other club. We couldn't be here, we couldn't have this trophy without them, so thank you very much, and thank you to our fans as well. Charles wants to thank the referees. He said they did a really good job, so thanks referees. And thanks FG too to change it to KGV 5. Maybe next year we can change it to Valley Road. Maybe. Alright, Charles, come up and get your medal. Yeah. By him. Bucky! Case, come here. Robbie. Brody. DC. Tyler. Jolie. Henry. Ali. Go on. Toby. Dominic. Aaron. Yasin. Now the coaching staff start with the number 1, Tom. The one and only Chris McKenna. Tai. Shane. Miles Barnard, come on.
Kieran, before you go too far, would you like your trophy? Presenting you our 2022 Lakoseljac Cup winners with their one-way ticket into the Australian